Our most successful right livelihood business, Windhorse Trading, now employs over 80 people in Cambridge. Consequently, there's a big demand for community living opportunities.
We needed more accommodation for communities in Cambridge, and we wanted to have them as near as possible to the existing communities. We already have 7 communities in this area, and we had a space in the garden of number 9, so we decided to build a community here, and I think it's the first purpose-built Buddhist community in the West. So the community is designed to hold 10 people, and it's going to be a men's community, at least initially. It's down quite a nice quiet street next to the Common, Midsummer Common, and the river. And we've paid quite a bit of attention to the communal areas particularly. So we've got a nice, light, airy shrine room, and the kitchen and the dining area are integrated. So there's a good living space, which we hope will help to foster a good community spirit. Also, it's quite close to the community next door. They'll be sharing a patio and garden area, so hopefully there'll be a good sense of community between the two communities as well.
The Cambridge Buddhist Centre has one of the largest sanghas in the West. In May, the Windhorse Trust bought this disused theatre for them.
We've needed a larger space for a number of years, and in all the time I've been in Cambridge, I've always been keeping an eye out for suitable large properties. Last year I noticed this building here, which also happens to be just across the road from all our communities where we're living. At the time it wasn't for sale, but the Cambridge Arts Theatre, which was hoping to redevelop it, got into financial difficulties and needed to sell it in a bit of a hurry. And we were fortunate enough to have the cash available to buy it. The house was built about 1800, and the theatre was built in 1814. And it ran quite successfully as a theatre up until the 1870s, when the Crimean War created economic problems, and the theatre was sold to some evangelists who used it as a mission hall from about 1878 to 1914. When the mission hall first got it, they had tea and buns for 600. So the theatre in those days would hold 700 people. Nowadays it'll probably hold somewhere between 300 and 400. 1926, a local millionaire called Terence Gray bought the theatre and modernised it. Not the auditorium, which is more or less in the same style as it was from 1814, but he changed the stage and made it into an open stage. And he ran an experimental theatre there. Just before the Second World War, the theatre fell empty, and it was used as an electrical store until it was bought by the Cambridge Arts Theatre Trust, who used it as a workshop and a place for painting scenery and storing costumes. So it hasn't had any public use for somewhere between 50 and 60 years. And a lot of people don't even realise that there's a theatre here, or even that it's such a special theatre. It's one of only 4 Georgian theatres in the country, and it's actually quite well preserved structurally. So it's something of a shame that it's lain empty all that time, because it's such a wonderful space for performance, and there's a very special atmosphere here. We are initially intending to use the house and foyer area as our Buddhist centre. So we're hoping that by having this bigger space that we'll be able to integrate the Buddhist centre activities more with Windhorse Trading, and Windhorse Trading with the Buddhist centre activities, just because there'll be enough room for everybody to be there. We'll more or less leave the auditorium as it is while we work out how to use it. I think it could stimulate interests in the arts, within the movement in the UK, and because it is such an inspiring space for performance of music or drama or even poetry recitals and so on. I think it will encourage people from all over the UK to produce works to perform here. I'm hoping that that's one possible direction that we could go in, as well as developing it as a temple for Buddhist activities.